Hi, in this video we are going to look at biomes. So I guess the very first question is, what is a biome? A biome is a very large ecosystem, a very large natural environment. There are 8 main biomes in the world. Okay, so I guess the next logical question that comes is, okay, well, why are there different biomes? After all, why don't we just have one biome in the Northern Hemisphere, the Southern Hemisphere, in America, in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in the Far East? Well, there are 2 factors that will influence the weather, the environment, the climate. They are climate and latitude. So, what is climate? Climate is the weather conditions over a period of time for a given area. And it's normally recorded over 30 years. So they collect 30 years worth of data to then create a climate picture. The temperature and rainfall will affect how plants grow. The more sunlight and rain you have, the more the plants grow. The more rain you have but not sunlight will affect it. The more sunlight you have but less rain, guess what? You have a desert. There are 4 main types of climate zones. You have your polar and subpolar regions. Polar regions are your very cold regions in the north and the south. Right at the northern hemisphere in the North Pole and southern hemisphere in the South Pole are your very cold areas. So your polar and subpolar regions. Next one down is your temperate. This is where it's neither cold nor warm. Yes, it gets cold in winter, and yes, it gets warm in summer, but it doesn't get polar cold, and it doesn't get tropical hot in the summer. So temperate is kind of your cold, your kind of coolish and warmish weather, your UK style weather. The next one is subtropical. This tends to be where there is a lot more sunlight, but not as much rain, so you tend to have more deserts. The final one is tropical rainforest. This is where you got a lot of sunlight and you get a lot of rain. So climate is one factor. Here are the 4 main zones in a picture form. As you can see, the polar regions and the subpolar regions are at the north and the south. Your sort of temperate is just below your polar regions or just above your polar regions. You then have subtropical and then tropical in red. And that links very nicely to the type of biomes that we will look at in the next video. The next thing we're going to look at is the latitude. In other words, how many degrees north or south you are from the equator. Latitude will affect how much sun a biome receives. If you have a look at this picture, you will see that on the equator, at the middle of the Earth, the same amount of sun is in a small area. Because it's in a small area, it has more sunlight, it has more heat, the sunlight's more effective. When you get further north, the same amount of sun has to cover a larger area, which then means that the sun's not quite as powerful, which means it can't quite get as hot. They are both linked to the climate zone. So let's look at the key words that we have just done. Climate, latitude, polar, so polar is your cold region, temperate, kind of neither warm nor hot, and tropical tends to be warm, hot, and humid, so you get a lot of rainfall. What I would like you to do is to have a go at creating this mind map. As you can see, I've done climate, weather conditions over 30 years. I've done rain, I've done sunshine. Again, it's to act as a reminder. Latitude, I have my little equator line drawn on. I've also added the equator, so I know that the middle of the Earth is called the equator. It's an imaginary line. Polar, well, I'm freezing, means it's cold. Temperate, I don't know, I'm hot, I'm cold, I don't know which one it is. How do I go? And then you have tropical, it's always hot and humid. Have a go at creating this mind map. Go ahead and pause the video. In the next video, we are going to look at the 8 different types of biomes. See you then.